keep me safe and never let this fade away. I'm hiding out so they don't see this part of me. Girls like me don't cry. Girls like me pretend we don't cry. Girls like me don't cry. Girls like me pretend we don't cry.
Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. My name is Siti Fatana binti Muhammad Amin. Today, I want to present about mental health awareness among students. For introduction, a mental illness is a physical brain condition that interferes with thinking, behavior, energy, or emotion and makes it difficult to go about everyday activities. The complicated beginnings of this illness, which could include trauma, brain chemistry, genetics, or existing physical conditions such as heart disease. Objective of our project is to study the demographic profile of respondents. Secondly, to identify what situation causes students to feel most anxious. Thirdly, to study the frequency of anxiety among students. Fourth, to know thoughts that always come to student minds when they are at their lowest. Fifth, to know how many times students will frequently feel down, depressed, or hopeless in a month. Furthermore, to know student thought of damaging themselves. And lastly, to know student sleep duration in a
Hi, my name is Yasmina Sarabintashe from class TB. I would like to talk about methodology in our assignment. What is methodology? Methodology is the method or technique used to define, collect, process, and evaluate information on the subject. The goal of this research methodology is to gather data from the research. Now, I would like to talk about description data. First is population. Population is large number of people or things they are. This population focus of certain scientific investigation. We have choose UiTM dual student as the focus of this study. We select them because we want to know their mental health awareness among student UiTM. Next is we use sampling frame. Sampling frame is a complete list of all elements in a population, which is UiTM DUNGUN student. Next is sampling technique. In our assignment, we use sampling technique, no random sampling because it is convenient sampling and non-probability sampling, where samples are selected from the population and this technique easy to recruit. Next is data collection method. Based on the survey made by us for this final report, we have discussed and decided to choose the internet survey as the data collection method. Throughout the survey, we use the Google Form application because it is very convenient for us to complete this study. Not only that, this platform also helps in making it easier for respondents to fill out the survey. All this information will be kept for our assessment group project in evaluating mental health awareness in UiTM Dungun.
Hello everyone, my name is Nuri Shaira Adila. Today I'm going to present about qualitative questions. So for the first, gender. Based on the pie chart of the percentage of students, most of the students are female, which is 77.5% equal to 31 students, and male is 22.5% equal to 5 students. Level of education. Based on the pie chart, most of the respondents are diploma students, which is 87.5% equal to 35 students. The second is from degree student, which is 12.5% equal to 5 students, while there is no response from pre-diploma and foundation student. Number 4, accommodation. Based on the pie chart, the majority of the students live on campus, which is 87.5% equal to 35 students. Next, 3 students live outside the campus in a rental house, which is 70.7.5%, and others live with family or relative in a house, which is 5% equal to 2 students. Next is the faculty. Based on the pie chart, the highest numbers of students among faculties are from the Academy of Contemporary Islamic Studies, which is 65% equal to 26 students. The second highest is from the Faculty of Business and Management, which is 12.5%, equal to 5 students. The Faculty of Hotel and Tourism is the third highest, with 4 students, equal to 10%. Next, Faculty of Accountancy, which is 7.5%, equal to 3 students. Lastly, Faculty of Electrical Engineering, which is 5%, equal to 2 students. Next, we go to the questions number 1. What makes you most anxious? Based on the pie chart, students always get anxious when they are in a crowded place. Almost 37.5% equal to 50 students. Other than that, 32.5% equal to 30 students feel anxious when they meet or talk to the strangers, while 22.5% equal to 9 students feel anxious when they have a problem. 5.5% equal to 3 students also feel anxious even when they are alone. Next, questions numbers 2. How often does your anxiety come? Based on the pie chart, the majority of the students' anxiety comes once a week. 46.2% equal to 80 students, in total 12 students or 30.8% had anxiety several times a week, while 12.83% equal to 5 students never had anxiety within the week. Besides that, of the students who always had anxiety is which is 10.3% equal to 4 students. Questions number 3. What thoughts that always comes in your mind when you are at your lowest? The thoughts that always come to the students' minds when they are at their lowest for the most part are wanting to be alone, which is 47.5 of students. Further, 30% equal to 12 students need someone to lean on, while some of the students think that is the better way. Approximately 7.5% equal to 3 students thinks like that. Other than that, 2 students or 7.5% only thought about self-harming, followed by 4 students or 10% who choose of all the above. Question number 4. How often do you feel down, depressed, or hopeless in a month? Based on the pie chart, the percentage of students who frequently feel down, depressed, or hopeless in a month, the majority of the students had it once a week, which is 57.5% equal to 23 students, and 25% equal to 10 students feels down several times a week. Next, a total of 4 students or 10% feel it every time. Lately, students who feel down, depressed, or hopeless never in a month are 2 students, or 5% students, followed by 1 student and 20.5% had it always in a month.
My name is Myra Akila binti Ubaida and I'm from TIC 1103DB. Now I will be talking about quantitative question. So the first quantitative question is in question 5. The question sounded in a week, how often do you feel like killing and hurting yourself? So, based on the histogram, most of the respondents answered zero count on their thoughts of killing and hurting themselves. The second highest vote is once a week, while on 2, 3, and 4 and above options got the same amount of vote, which each consists of two number of respondents. Other than histogram, we also use a less than or GIF to show the number of thoughts or number of student thoughts about killing and hurting themselves. So, based on the less than or GIF, most of the students have no thoughts of damaging themselves, while the number of thoughts followed by the students increasing drastically for less than 1, while it rises slowly on less than 2, 3, and 4 number of thoughts. The next point in the first quantitative question is measures of central tendency. We got mean, median, and mode. The interpretation for mean is, on the average, students have thoughts of killing and hurting themselves once a week after rounding to the nearest integer. For median, 50% of the students have zero thoughts of killing and hurting themselves in a week. Lastly, for the mode, majority of students have no thoughts of killing and hurting themselves in a week.
Next, we will be moving to the measures of this question for question 5. For standard deviation, the deviation of a student's thoughts of damaging themselves is 1 hour and 12 minutes, while for the coefficient of variance, on the average, students have thoughts of killing and hurting themselves deviates from the mean as much as 1 hour and a half. The last point in quantitative first question is the shape of distribution for question 5. In order to find the shape of distribution, we first need to use Pearson's coefficient of skewness formula, which is 3 in bracket mean minus median divided by standard deviation. After inputting the number, we will get negative 51.7380, which means the negative shows that the shape of distribution is negatively skewed to the left.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Shazza Hasana binti Sharil. I'm from TIC 1103DB. Next, I will talk about the second quantitative question, which is how many hours do you sleep every day? In the context of the student sleep duration in a day, majority of students reported a daily sleep duration of 4 to 6 hours. Additionally, the second highest frequency of the respondent is 6 to 8 hours on sleep each day. Meanwhile, just a little respondent mentioned having a daily sleep duration of 2 to 4 hours, and there were no respondent who spending 0 to 2 hours sleep of each day. Next is measure of central tendency for second quantitative question. And we have mean, median, and mode. For mean, on average, students sleep 5 hours a day. For median, 50% of the students sleep 5 hours a day. And lastly, for the mode, majority of the students sleep for 5 hours in a day, and all of this rounded to the nearest integer. Next, we'll move on to the measure of distribution for question 6, which is second quantitative question in this report. So we have standard deviation and variance. For standard deviation, the deviation of students' sleep duration in a day is 1.31 hours. And for variance, on the average student sleep duration in a day deviates from the mean as much as 2 hours rounded to the nearest integer. So, last point for the second quantitative question is shape of distribution, which is we're going to use Pearson coefficient of skewness formula, which is 3 times in bracket mean minus median divided by standard deviation, and we get 0.0448. So the answer is positive. So the distribution of students' sleep duration in a day positively skewed to the right.
In the context of this project, we use WhatsApp to conduct an online survey with students at UiTM DUNGUN, asking them to respond and provide data on the subject we have been studying. Students answered our assignment with a total of 40 responses. In summary, based on the survey that has been distributed to the students at UiTM DUNGUN, the majority of the respondents were females from the Faculty of Academic Contemporary Islamic Studies who were doing their diploma and living on campus. Regarding the topic of student mental health awareness, we are aware that the majority of students experience anxiety once a week, and that most students experience anxiety if they are in an environment that is crowded. According to the responses, the thought that always comes to student minds when they are at their lowest for the most part are wanting to be alone. Lastly, the majority of the students who frequently feel down, depressed, or hopeless had it once a week.